onto turn 3. Up toward turn 4. The Slim Jim Chevrolet. Strong move to the outside. He's got Purvis in tow as they move by the Duraloop machine with Jim Sauter at the throttle tonight. If you're just joining us, Dick Trickle is up in New Hampshire. He'll start the Winston Cup race tomorrow that you'll see live here on TNN Motorsports. But he was injured a little bit in that crash last Saturday at Daytona at the end of the Pepsi 400. Dick with some knee injuries. They've been draining fluid off the knee, and they said, frankly, they didn't think he was up to the task of flying in to run the race tonight. So Jim Sauter does a lot of testing for that team, gets the nod in the Duraloop Dennis Shoemaker machine tonight. And Steve Park will go by Sauter on the outside. Car's kind of been off the pace all weekend. They had to take a provisional to get in. Jeff Fuller in the 45. He had problems earlier. He gets shuffled to the outside in the Hunter Specialties car, the Mike Laughlin machine. We watch Mike Dillon go by.
45 car is really off the pace. They're in trouble. He looks like he might be just wanting to try to get to the bottom. Maybe he wants to get in.
Well, he had pitted earlier. I guess he had tagged the wall a little is what it looked like, and made a pit stop. And I guess they're just out there trying to get some points right now. You were talking a little earlier about Jason Keller starting to run up front, and Tim Fita was leading the race, and Randy LaJoy's in third or fourth. One thing that I've noticed is most of the guys running up front all seem to have one thing in common: K-Tech engines. They seem to be putting out some good power right now.
They are very strong in this series. Randy LaJoy rode K-Tech power to a championship in the Busch Series last year. Trying to make it 2 straight. But right now it's his teammate, Tim Fedewa, who's got things going his way. We're just past halfway at Myrtle Beach. Great place to visit the Grand Strand here at Myrtle Beach. A lot of folks enjoying boating or a round of golf. And thousands are enjoying NASCAR Busch Series racing tonight under the lights at Myrtle Beach Speedway. We're glad you're with us tonight on TNN Motorsports. Time now for our Stanley Mid-Race Report, brought to you by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right. 4 leaders so far with 5 lead changes. A couple of cautions worth 10 laps. We're averaging a little over 86 miles an hour. 3 cars behind the garage wall right now. 25 remain on the lead lap, and there are your 2 leaders. The 33 of Tim Fedewa, the 34 of Mike McLaughlin running second. Mike has turned in a really strong run tonight, and I think the patience has really come into play for Mike McLaughlin too. He may well be a car that is a factor in this one before it's over. We're going to show you the rest of the top 5. There's Todd Bodine running in 4th spot. Randy LaJoy actually in 4th. Todd is 3rd right now, and we take you a little further back in the field. This is the battle with Steve Park, Jeff Purvis, and the 72 of Mike Dillon for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Now Purvis in the 28 started on the outside pole, ran 2nd earlier, and he has come back up through the pack to run 5th. There's the 57 car, Jason Keller directly in front of him. Or, I'm sorry, that's the 80 of Mark Krogh directly in front of him.
Saw the red and yellow there and looked away.
The 28 got up underneath the 57 a little bit earlier, and when he moved him out of the way, it opened the door for the 3 and the 72 of Steve Park and Mike Dillon to just move right on in.
Racing down into turn 1. Good battle a little further back. Mike Dillon is a driver, too, we ought to give a call to. He has really started to come on of late. He had a great run going at South Boston a couple of weeks ago. Up to 7th here tonight in the Detroit Gaskets Chevrolet.
Yeah, he really has matured. He did a lot of crashing at first, and he settled down, and he finishes races, and he's got, good finishes now to show for it.
Well, like you had said earlier about settling down and being aggressive and then learning when to calm down, I think that's what happened to Steve Park yesterday. He had a fast car in practice. He got aggressive in practice, knowing he maybe had a shot at the pole. He wrecks the car. A good driver is that you come back, you settle down, and you drive with what you've got. You don't overdrive your equipment. Look what it's done. Where's he at? 5th?
And we've got trouble up in turn 3, it looks like. One car's turned around. Joe Bessey's machine with some problems. There's one of the Krogh brothers in the 56 with some problems as well, dropping sparks. It looks like he's lost the left front wheel, or at least he's dragging on the racetrack as he comes down the main straightaway. Joe Bessey involved in the power team car, the 6, and the 56 of Jeff Krogh involved as they come off of 2, and let's see how those two got together. Krogh into the wall, and Bessey gets loose and spins down into the inside, and that evidently cut the tire down on the 56. The left front is flat, and so he drags down into 3 and all the way around.
Yeah, we couldn't see from that angle if the 56 came down on him or if Bessey came up. We just couldn't quite tell.
Jeff Krogh, the Clearwater CFI car. They said the car they were afraid didn't have any brakes. He gets it onto pit road. crew comes to the attention of the CFI 56. So a tough break for Jeff Krogh and for Joe Bessey. We're under caution once again with 141 laps complete. Ready for a restart at Myrtle Beach Speedway in South Carolina. The NASCAR Busch Series live tonight on TNN Motorsports.
Green flag.
Tim Fedewa on the inside leads him back to the green. 144 laps complete, 106 to go. He's got Jim Sauter on the outside, a lap down. There's McLaughlin in the 34 in second spot. Todd Bodine third. Randy LaJoie is fourth. Jeff Purvis is fifth as we look at the leaders on the back straightaway. McLaughlin moving under the 64 machine. Bodine right with him there, as is LaJoie. It allows Fedewa time to scoot away. And I think you really have to give Fedewa a lot of credit after that early skirmish with Elliott Sadler that bent the front sheet metal on that car a lot. He's been very stout the entire way.
Yeah, he's been strong all night here and just driving really a smart race.
Call two to his crew chief, Butch Enders, who joined that team partway through the season. Butch was the crew chief for David Green and the Caterpillar machine last year in the Busch Series Tour. Had them in contention for the championship all season long. Butch started the year with the Caterpillar crew and they went to Winston Cup, but didn't stay too long, and now has hooked up with Base Motorsports, and he's working with Tim Fedewa, doing a great job. Randy LaJoie, the defending series champ and the current point leader, to the outside now of Sauter up in 3 and 4. Randy up to 4th. He backpedaled early and got the car right, or more right, I guess you'd say at this point. And Randy trying to get to the front, challenge for the victory here in the final 100 laps, which are just 3 laps from starting, and that's when it really ought to get interesting. There goes Purvis in the 28 now around the 64 car. Jeff is 5th. Steve Park is 6th in the 3 car. Bill Venturini, I know you've had your eye on Park since we got here this weekend. He's turning in a really nice ride.
Oh, he's showing a lot of maturity tonight, taking the car that he hadn't really practiced with, using it to the best of the ability of the car, not overdriving it, and just using his head. This is what shows a sign of a good driver. He's got really good potential. I think Dale made the right choice.
Battle for third now. Randy LaJoie closing in on Todd Bodine. Remember that Bodine is 32 points down in second spot.
The Busch Series is so competitive now that these teams, if they're racing for a championship, racing for wins, or racing for a championship, they've got to be able to have as good a car as their backup car to be able to unload off of that trailer as they have the one that they originally showed up with hoping to race.
As we watch LaJoie down into 1, we ought to tell you that Elliott Sadler, who started on the pole and led for quite a while, he's out of sync on his pit stops, and it may work to his advantage. He stopped at the end of that caution period, took on his set of tires, which probably will be his final set of tires. He's in line to gain a lot of track position maybe when everybody else, when the leaders stop.
Well, yeah, when they dropped the green, he was just pulling out of the pits. He was almost a whole lap down. He's closed it up to only about a half a lap now. He's caught the rest of the field, and like you said, Rick, he pit strategy. He won't pit again. I mean, if everyone else, the leaders pit, he's got track position.
As we watch the battle for third with LaJoie trying to take it away from Todd Bodine. Mike Hogwood, you watched that pit strategy on pit road. What do you think?
It's a definite. That was their last set of tires as mandated by NASCAR. They had no choice but to come in then. They did fill up with fuel. They can go the rest of the way. Everybody else on the racetrack that's in the lead is going to stop and put on tires before the race is over with. So you're right. It might be an advantage. It's a gamble, but it's a gamble that they had no choice in. They had to take it.
Watch the battle for 6. Steve Park in the 3 car is running 6. Danny Edwards back up on the racetrack in the Lumar Films Chevrolet. That's the Ed Whitaker machine. There's Park running 6th. He's got Jim Sauter behind him a lap down, and then the next car back is Mike Dillon in the 72. You saw Dillon there momentarily coming off of 4. So Park up to 6, trying to get up on Jeff Purvis and maybe make a move into the top 5. And that would be quite an accomplishment for the AC Delco Chevrolet team. They wrecked their primary car yesterday at practice. They thrashed hard the rest of yesterday and all day today to try to make the backup car more competitive here tonight. Obviously, it's in the hands of a very good young driver, too.
Yeah, they've got a professional team. All the top Busch teams have crews that are capable of doing this. That's what makes them championship-winning teams.
Take a look back on it and on the leader, Tim Fedewa, the Kleenex Chevrolet, the base car. They say this is the other car, but Fedewa showing every bit as much strength tonight as the series point leader, Randy LaJoie. Fedewa out in front, gunning for what would be his second career Busch Series victory.
Yeah, I sure wouldn't mind driving that other car tonight.
Plenty in that other car. There's McLaughlin, second spot in the Royal Oak car, the 34.